Do you know the feeling? You have an anxious period and suddenly you start getting these horrible nightmares. Or maybe you're not sleeping at all because you have all these anxious thoughts in your head and you're just tossing and turning. Well, I recently had a period like that. And what really helps me in those times is reciting this inner mantra. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. And that tends to really help and calm me down. So I told my flatmate about it and I said, you know what? I should actually tattoo that on my body. And that's it. That was the exact moment when I had the idea for my new photo shoot. My flatmate knew I had an idea because I started doing that thing where I just stare into space for a few minutes and look like I've turned into stone. So the next thing I did was to get on Pinterest and research my idea. Instead of tattooing the mantra on my face, why not write it all over my face and body and then take a really cool photo of it? Obviously, I'm not the first one to come up with this idea, and I found lots of photos already on Pinterest where people had done this, so I made a mood board for my photo shoot. Next came the hard part. I got my body painting makeup ready and I realized if I wanted to write something onto my skin, it had to be written the wrong way around because of course the camera takes a mirror image. So if I wanted it to appear correctly in the photo, it would have to be written in mirror image on my skin. Now that is a little bit tricky, I found out. Here's my little practice round on my arm. I could really feel my brain working very hard. I realized it wasn't going to work that way. So instead I grabbed my notebook and I started doing some practice exercises on the page. First I wrote it the right way around and then I tried to mirror the writing. And again, that took me a few minutes to figure out. I basically had to keep taking photos of it to see if I had written it correctly. By the way, did you know that Leonardo da Vinci practiced mirror writing? Supposedly, who knows if it's true, but apparently he was left-handed too. And he started mirror writing so he wouldn't smudge his page. But back to the photo shoot. This was definitely one of the most challenging makeups I've done for my own shoots. And you can also hear the frustration in this behind the scenes video. There was definitely a lot of cursing. What? In the end, I did figure out a way to do it, which was holding up the page with the mirror writing of my diary to the mirror and then copying what I saw in the mirror. That's probably way more complicated than it should have been, but it worked for me. Eventually, I decided to also write the mantra on my neck because I thought it would look even cooler if I didn't have it only in my face. Now let me show you my setup. It was actually in my bedroom because why not? And the light I was using was a strobe light by Neva and I attached a beauty dish at the front with a white diffusing material. I also had a honeycomb grid under the diffuser. And then here you see my tripod with my camera. And the background is simply a white foam board. You can get that in any 3D model shops or whatever. Right, and then let me show you me in action. This was a frustrating shoot. I mean, it's difficult anyway, taking self-portraits, because you have to do everything, right? You have to take the photo and pose and get the lighting right and everything at the same time. But for some reason with this one, I couldn't get the pose right. I didn't like the way my hair looked, which I had slicked back with gel. And it really took me a long time. I think I was busy with this for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, which is longer than my usual self-portrait shoots. But it's fine. In the end, I got some kind of photo I'm happy with. If you're wondering why I'm always looking at my phone, it's because I'm using a phone app that's connected with my camera, and that allows me to focus on my face and to take the photo remotely. Now, I'd love to show you the final image, but first make sure to subscribe to my channel so I can make more content for you. Thank you! And here you go, that's the final image. I deliberated making it black and white, but in the end I just love color too much. See you next time!